Aaliyah.How, January 16, 1979 – August 25, 2001, known mononymously as Aaliyah, was an American singer, actress, dancer, and model. She has been credited for helping to redefine contemporary R&B, pop and hip-hop, earning her the nicknames the Princess of R&B and Queen of Urban Pop. Born in Brooklyn and raised in Detroit, she first gained recognition at the age of 10, when she appeared on the television show Star Search and performed in concert alongside Gladys Knight. At the age of 12, Aaliyah signed with Jive Records and her uncle Barry Hankerson's Blackground Records. Hankerson introduced her to 𝐘𝐿𝐴, who became her mentor, as well as lead songwriter and producer of her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. The album sold 3 million copies in the United States and was certified double platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA. After facing allegations of an illegal marriage with 𝐘𝐿𝐴, Aaliyah ended her contract with Jive and signed with Atlantic Records. Aaliyah worked with record producers Timbaland and Missy Elliott for her second album, 1 in a Million, which sold 3 million copies in the United States and more than 8 million copies worldwide. In 2000, Aaliyah appeared in her first film, Romeo Must Die. She contributed to the film's soundtrack, which spawned the single Try Again. The song topped the Billboard Hot 100 solely on airplay, making Aaliyah the first artist in Billboard history to achieve this goal. After completing Romeo Must Die, Aaliyah filmed her role in Queen of the Damned and released in 2001 her self-titled third and final studio album, which topped the Billboard 200 on August 25, 2001. Aaliyah died at the age of 22 in an airplane accident in the Bahamas, when the badly overloaded aircraft she was traveling in crashed shortly after takeoff, killing all 9 on board. The pilot was later found to have traces of cocaine and alcohol in his body, and was not qualified to fly the aircraft designated for the flight. Aaliyah's family later filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the aircraft's operator, Black Hawk International Airways, which was settled out of court. In the decades since her death, Aaliyah's music has continued to achieve commercial success, aided by several posthumous releases, and she has sold an estimated 24 to 32 million albums worldwide. Her accolades include 3 American Music Awards and 2 MTV VMAs, along with 5 Grammy Award nominations. Billboard lists her as the 10th most successful female R&B artist of the past 25 years, and the 27th most successful in history. Early life. Aaliyah.How was born on January 16, 1979, in Brooklyn, New York, and was the younger child of Diane and Michael Miguel Houghton, 1951–2012. She was of African-American descent. Her name is the feminine form of the Arabic Ali, meaning highest, most exalted one, the best. The singer was highly fond of her name, calling it beautiful and asserting she was very proud of it, and strove to live up to her name every day. Aaliyah's mother enrolled Aaliyah in voice lessons at an early age. She started performing at weddings, church choir, and charity events. When Aaliyah was 5 years old, her family moved to Detroit, Michigan, where she was raised along with her older brother, Rashad. She attended a Catholic school, 𝐒𝐿𝐴 Elementary, where in first grade she was cast in the stage play Annie, which inspired her to become an entertainer. In Detroit, her father began working in the warehouse business, one of his brother-in-law Barry Hankerson's widening interests. Her mother stayed home and raised Aaliyah and her brother. Throughout Aaliyah's life, she had a good relationship with Rashad, who recalled Aaliyah having a beautiful voice as a child. Aaliyah's family was very close due to the struggles of her grandparents, and when they moved to Detroit, the Hankersons were ready to take them in if necessary. These same bonds led to ties in the music industry, under the Blackground Records label. Aaliyah's mother was a vocalist, and her uncle, Barry Hankerson, was an entertainment lawyer who had been married to Gladys Knight. As a child, Aaliyah traveled with Knight and worked with an agent in New York to audition for commercials and television programs, including Family Matters. She went on to appear on Star Search at the age of 10. Aaliyah chose to begin auditioning. Her mother made the decision to drop her surname. She auditioned for several record labels and at age 11 appeared in concerts alongside Knight. She had several pet animals during her childhood, including ducks, snakes, and iguanas. Her cousin Jomo had a pet alligator, which Aaliyah felt was too much, remarking, That was something I wasn't going to stroke. Her grandmother died in 1991. Years after her death, Aaliyah said her grandmother supported everyone in the family and always wanted to hear her sing, as well as admitting that she spoiled her and her brother Rashad. She also enjoyed Aaliyah's singing and would have Aaliyah sing for her. Aaliyah said she thought of her grandmother whenever she fell into depression. Aaliyah's hands reminded her of her aunt, who died when she was very young and whom Aaliyah remembered as an amazingly beautiful woman. Education. When she was growing up, Aaliyah attended Detroit schools and believed she was well-liked, but got teased for her short stature. She recalled coming into her own prior to age 15 and grew to love her height. Her mother would tell her to be happy that she was small and compliment her. Other children disliked Aaliyah, but she did not stay focused on them. You always have to deal with people who are jealous, but there were so few it didn't even matter. The majority of kids supported me, which was wonderful. When it comes to dealing with negative people, I just let it in one ear and out the other. Those people were invisible to me. Even in her adult life, she considered herself small. She had learned to accept and love herself and added, "The most important thing is to think highly of yourself, because if you don't, no one else will." During her audition for acceptance to the Detroit High School for the Fine and Performing Arts, Aaliyah sang the song Ave Maria in its entirety in the Italian language. Aaliyah, who maintained a perfect 4.0 grade point average when graduating from high school, felt education was important. She saw fit to keep her grades up despite the pressures and time constraints brought on her during the early parts of her career. She labeled herself as a perfectionist and recalled always being a good student. Aaliyah reflected, "I always wanted to maintain that, even in high school when I first started to travel. I wanted to keep that 4.0. Being in the industry, I don't want kids to think, I can just sing and forget about school. I think it's very important to have an education, and even more important to have something to fall back on." She did this in her own life, as she planned to fall back on another part of the entertainment industry. She believed that she could teach music history or open her own school to teach that or drama if she did not make a living as a recording artist because, as she reasoned, when you pick a career it has to be something you love. Aaliyah changed the sound of R&B music and was one of the most beloved singers of the 90s. Born Aaliyah.How, the mononymous singer began her career at 11 years old when she performed with her aunt Gladys Knight for 5 nights in Las Vegas. Aaliyah was only 14 when she released her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, in 1994, which received American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards and Soul Train Awards nominations for Best New Artist and skyrocketed her into popularity. Aaliyah's second album, One in a Million, went double platinum after its release in 1996, and her third, and final, album, Aaliyah, dropped in 2001 and peaked at number 2 on Billboard's Top 10 list. Sadly, 2 months after the debut of her self-titled album, Aaliyah's life was tragically cut short when she died in a plane crash in the Bahamas after filming her music video Rock the Boat on August 25, 2001. Following Aaliyah's death, her musical and personal legacy lived on. She received 3 posthumous Grammy Awards nominations for Aaliyah and earned nods for her acting in the vampire movie Queen of the Damned. In honor of the late singer's birthday in January 2024, a tribute was posted on Instagram to celebrate what would have been her 45th birthday. "You were more than just a daughter, sister, friend, and role model, Aaliyah," it read. "You were a revolution of sound, a beacon of style, and an inspiration to millions. You showed us how to own our power, embrace individuality, and move through the world with fierce grace. We miss you every day, but your light still stays with us." To mark 24 years since the singer's death, here's a look at what happened the day Aaliyah died and the legacy she left behind. How did Aaliyah die? Aaliyah died in a plane crash in the Bahamas when a small twin-engine Cessna 402B crashed shortly after takeoff. The chartered plane was carrying Aaliyah and 8 others, including the singer's hairdresser, bodyguard, a record executive and the plane's pilot, per the New York Times. The plane's wings shattered on impact, and the engine and landing gear were torn off, the outlet reported. Aaliyah and 5 of the other passengers died instantly. 3 others died of their injuries the next day. Aaliyah's official cause of death included severe burns and a blow to the head, The pathologist who performed autopsies on the victims testified in court during a coroner's inquest into the crash in 2003, according to CBS News. The pathologist also testified that an autopsy of the pilot, Luis Antonio Morales, revealed he had cocaine in his urine and traces of alcohol in his stomach. The pilot was also not certified to fly the Cessna 402B and had been hired by the charter company a few days before the crash, per the New York Times. Morales had also been sentenced to probation for cocaine possession 2 weeks prior. In addition, the newspaper reported that the days leading up to the flight were filled with confusion and mistakes, including overweight cargo for Aaliyah's music video being delivered to the wrong Bahamian island and multiple changes of which charter company would bring Aaliyah and her crew back to the United States. After investigations into the causes of the crash, officials believed that the small twin-engine plane was 700 pounds overloaded when it took off from the airport on the Bahamian island of 𝐒𝐿𝐴. Aaliyah died on Saturday, August 25, 2001, at around 6:45 p.m. After wrapping filming for Aaliyah's Rock the Boat music video in the Bahamas, singer and her crew planned to return to the U.S. the same day. The New York Times reported that the charter plane company was changed at the last minute, downsizing the aircraft's weight limit. Despite the 10-seat Cessna piloted by Morales arriving nearly 2 hours late, the weight of the passengers and their baggage weren't checked prior to boarding, as required by federal regulations, according to the publication. Experts later believed that the weight of passengers and cargo wasn't evenly distributed. During the 2003 coroner's inquest into the causes of the crash, 2 taxi drivers who dropped Aaliyah and her crew off at the airport and a customs official testified that they were concerned about the amount of equipment they had with them, per CBS News. When the plane took off at around 6:45 p.m., an eyewitness saw the plane bank left and fall to the ground at a frightening speed, he told the New York Times. The crash took less than a minute, he said. Aaliyah died on impact along with 5 other passengers, and the remaining 3 later died of their injuries. Aaliyah died on the Bahamian island of 𝐒𝐿𝐴 at the airport in Marsh Harbor. The Cessna 402B crashed a few yards from the airport's runway. Aaliyah and the plane's other passengers were headed for Miami after spending 2 days on the island filming a music video for her song, Rock the Boat. The work was released posthumously and garnered attention as Aaliyah's last creative project. The clip features scenes of Aaliyah dancing on a beach in Treasure Cay, a peninsula on the island, according to W magazine, as well as with her backup dancers on the deck of a yacht. How old was Aaliyah when she died? Aaliyah was 22 years old at the time of her death. What lawsuits were filed after Aaliyah's death? After Aaliyah died, her parents, Diane and Michael Houghton, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Instinct Productions, the video production company that created the Rock the Boat music video and coordinated transportation to and from the Bahamas, and other defendants, per the New York Times. In the fall of 2003, 2 years after the singer's death, the family reached an undisclosed settlement with the defendants. The Houghton family also reached a settlement with Blackhawk, the company operating the Cessna 402B, and flight broker Atlantic Flight Group for negligence in the crash, Billboard reported in 2003. The families of Eric Foreman and Anthony Dodd, 2 of Aaliyah's crew who were killed in the crash, also filed wrongful death lawsuits against Instinct, Blackhawk, Virgin Records and Blackground, according to Billboard. How did the public react to Aaliyah's death? In the days after Aaliyah's death, fans held memorials for the singer across the country, and fellow musicians honored her with heartfelt statements. 2 days after her death on August 27, 2001, hundreds of people gathered near Aaliyah's former high school in Detroit to remember the singer with a candlelight vigil. They admired her work and her position as a role model to young girls, according to Billboard. Rapper DMX, who starred alongside Aaliyah in the movie Romeo Must Die, released a statement after her death. Talented, classy, warm, beautiful, compassionate, and humble best describes my memories of Aaliyah, a down-to-earth sister with enough energy to put anyone on a cloud, it read, according to Billboard. Music producer Timbaland, who collaborated with Aaliyah on songs like Are You That Somebody?, spoke about the singer on MTV's Total Request Live. Me and her together had this chemistry. I kinda lost half of my creativity to her, he said. Beyond the music, she was a brilliant person, the most special person I ever met. A year after Aaliyah's death, LeBron James revealed that the singer influenced his career. The NBA star James told Sports Illustrated that Aaliyah's unexpected death inspired him to keep playing through a career-threatening injury in college. "You're not promised tomorrow," he explained. "I had to be out on the field with my team." What kind of legacy did Aaliyah leave behind today? Aaliyah's music continues to generate buzz. After years of disagreements between Aaliyah's estate and her former record label run by her uncle regarding putting her music on streaming platforms, Aaliyah's second album, One in a Million, was released on Spotify just before the 20th anniversary of the singer's death in 2021, with the remaining projects released soon after. Artists and fans regularly pay tribute to Aaliyah and her music over 20 years after her death. On the 18th anniversary of Aaliyah's death in 2019, Victoria Monet remembered the late singer on X, formerly Twitter. "I will forever hold her and her music with me as an influence in all of my goals, my voice, my movement, energy and soul. I love you, Aaliyah," she wrote. On what would have been Aaliyah's 40th birthday in 2019. Her brother Rashad shared an original poem he penned in her honor. 2 years later, Missy Elliott also expressed her support of the Try Again vocalist on her 41st birthday. "You are still inspiring people," she wrote. "Your edginess and smooth dancing so effortless, your uniqueness and style unmatched, fire musically, your songs will forever be next level. R.I.P. baby gal, forever loved, Dove, folded hands, medium, and red heart."